we're going to talk about things that you need in order to grow plants in your house or outside or in your garden or in a large garden. So the first thing we're going to talk about is containers. Now these are a couple of water containers. Either you can use the faucet, but I like to use containers to put water on my plants. And these are just two different types. You don't even have to buy these. You can even just use a cup. You can use something glass, something that you have in your house. Now here are just some containers that we use. Now here, these containers go with my vertical potting apparatuses. And we bought these probably 10 or 15 years ago from someone that was going out of business. Now here's a smaller pot. This is a smaller one that we just got to get plants planted in my flower beds, some things I keep. Now here's a little cup that came from my grandbaby milk container. And here's just a gallon food container. These two items here, you have to make sure you put holes in the bottom for your media to drain. Now here are some pots that we bought flowers into that I kept, and here's another pot. So things that you buy, if you have a place to keep them, you can plant in those. Now some tools that you may need are, I use a level. I try to have something to write with. I have a hammer. You don't have to have a hammer like this, anything to drive something in the ground. And I have one of these tools in order to, if I'm going to dig up anything to cut the roots with, and then a couple spades, different sizes, and I like to have the metal ones. And I went to the store, when I was at the store, I bought this big spoon because sometimes I need something that's a little large, with a little larger base here. You can get them in spades also, but I like to use a spoon sometimes. And I keep my pocket knife in my pocket, so if I have to cut something. We're going to talk about is some type of potting soil. You may say, hey, I don't have the money in order to go to the store and buy potting soil. You should have it, everybody should have it, a compost pile that you put your leaves from your yard. When you cut your grass, you put that in your compost pile. But just be careful with chemicals. If you use a lot of chemicals around your house and you cut your grass, if you spray your lawn, you cut your grass and put that in your compost pile, you're going to have those chemicals in your compost pile. But this is some organic mushroom compost. And this little material here is stuff that we bought when we bought the pots from the people. It has its own potting media, and it's kind of light. This mushroom stuff is light. Now here is some compost that came from my compost pile. And here's another mushroom compost that is different from the other one. They came from different places. And you want something that's going to be light. You want to make sure that you don't have a whole lot of sand, but that's all you have. That may be what you have to use. So now we're going to talk about how to build a vertical frame. You may not have exactly this. Like I said, this is some stuff that we bought about 10 or 15 years ago. You can go to the store. The store you can have some type of vertical hanging pot, but this is just a general idea. I'm just going to go through what I have here, what I use, most of the time. Now, this is a bowl, and these are just little spaces that the type pots I have must sit on. These are just PVC, which slide down over the pole. And then these are PVC covers. If the PVC is too thin wall, you can use a hacksaw. And I just happen to have a bandsaw in my garage, and if I want them square, I go in and put it on the bandsaw and just let the saw cut it square. So when water drip out of the plant, it will go into this container, and I can plant something around here. Now, if you have chickens, I plant something in here that the chickens don't like, and they don't eat it, because they will eat your plants if you have them too low and something that they like. They love greens, so they will eat the greens out of the bottom there. Now, one thing, here are these spaces. You use these spaces to come up out of the pot. to get your pot that you're gonna plant in up high enough so you can utilize this space around here. Now you got to make sure that it depends upon how many pots you're gonna put on here, so you can have enough top space in order to water your plants. And we'll talk about that later. Now here I use this level, so when I put the pole in the ground, I like to have it level. Now they make one I should have had here that all you have to do is just put it on the pole like that, and you can measure both sides at once. But here, using this, you have to use your level on this side and somewhere on this side to make sure it's plumb. Then once you get this piece on, now you're ready to put your pots on. But,
and let me show you what this piece is. So this, guys, this is like a, you can see it. I'm not exactly sure what you would call it, but this is what it is. And let me zoom in on what we have so far. So he already did this one. And here it is, and then your pot would go over the top of that and sit like these. So this one has one on the bottom of it that you can't see. And then this is how we're going to show you the pots go. And I think this is kale that we planted in this one.
now here, I take a large container. If I'm going to mix my soil myself, like I said, you can go to anywhere that sells potting soil. I like to make sure I get the organic potting soil. If you're going to use, you can use your own. If you have a compost pile, you can use your own, but make sure you don't have too much sand in it so your plants can be heavy. But if that's all you have, you can use that. If you're just going to have your pots on the ground, you're not going to do a vertical type of thing, that's fine. You can use that. But now here's what I will do. I already have some in here. Now I put about 3 of these in there. This is some of my old potting mix that I had. I put 3 of those in there. I didn't tell you about this. Is some potting soil mix that I made at our little farm. I put the mushroom compost, I put some of the old potting mix that I had, and I put water on it and let it set. It probably set for 3 or 4 months, and that's why it looks so dark. And this is how much I have in there already. And I'm just going to tell you what I put in there. So I talked about I put 3 of these, in there, and then I put approximately 2 or 3 of the organic compost, mushroom compost on top of that, and then I would put a little of my special stuff that I made on top of that, and then I would put the other mushroom compost that I had in a container for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, and I put that in there. And then I would mix that up, and then I'd do the same procedure over again until I get enough that I can have 4 or 5 pots like this that I can use.
So guys, right now he's mixing up some of the mushroom compost, his compost from his bucket right here. And he's wearing some face covering to cover his nose and mouth so the dust from this stuff does not get in your face.
And tell him I put some ashes in here too. I forgot about that.
Oh, so I don't know if you heard that, but there are also some ashes in there. And obviously you do not want to be burning anything that's harmful and then putting your ashes in your compost. So right now he's just wetting his compost so that it's moist, so that when you put the plants in there, you've already done this part. Now he's just filling up his bucket, and I'm not sure what size all vertical planting buckets are. They're probably all different sizes, but these take about 1.5 gallons. So these right here take about 1.5 gallons. Hey guys, for reference, if you're going to do this like us and your buckets take about 1.5 gallons, you'll need 7.5 gallons to fill up your 5 buckets right here.
So now after I have saturated this, we're going to plant it in the corner, and you'll see why I use the corner.
So obviously, guys, you're going to do that to all 5 buckets that you have, or however many that you have. I mean, you can go higher.
I got 2 plants in here. If you're gonna go buy your plants, that's what you want to look for. A lot of times you just have one in a plug, but if you could find some that has 2 in it, then you just take your knife and just split them. I'm gonna take my knife and split this down, and I have 2 plants. Now here's your knife. You know, I told you one of your tools you need is a knife. This is my pocket knife I carry. I got 2 plants in this plug, so I'm gonna try to cut right between them, so I can end up with 2 plants. And you be very careful with these. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the ground.
Because you got more time than you got what?
Money. I'm getting ready to put my soil in the bottom of the pot. You gotta have something that when this pot rests here, it's gonna push down. So that's why we have these in the bottom. And we're gonna have them here. So when it presses down, it won't just keep going through the bottom of the pot.
One thing I need to mention, I said you would need 7.5 gallons to do this. Now, that is just to fill up the pots that you would need the 7.5 gallons. If you're filling up the bottom part, which this one is not full, but this one right now that we're showing you, he's filling up. And how many gallons do you think that is, Dad?
This is probably about a full gallon pot.
So if you're gonna fill up the bottom like us, or you're trying to do it just like us, this is like a 4 or 5 gallon pot. But you know, if you're getting your stuff from the store new, it should tell you the gallon size, so there
I
you
have
know.
plants that I'm going to fill this planter up with. My plants already planted. Now, in the side of this pot was a little hole. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. One of my sons decided he's going to go in my garden and dig holes in the side of my pot. So what I'm trying to do is utilize those pots that have holes in it. And that's what I did. I planted a plant in it. And put my pots on the pole. And I just kind of measured my pot here to this one. But one good thing about it, because this is in the ground, if it's too high, I can drive it down. But I don't like to pull them up, but I can drive them in. What I do to keep sand from going down in my pole, I always stick something in the top of my pole. Now I'm going to put my first pot on, and this is a pot that doesn't have anything in it. I'm going to plant something in it that the chickens don't like. Remember I said something about the chickens love some of my plants? And I'm pretty sure they will love bok choy. Now I'm going with the first pot that has plants in it. This is my bok choy. You come down here like this, and these pots are designed to sit caliconing. They have these little slots in the top where the next pot was set. Here's my pot with my little plant sticking out of the side of it. Now, one thing I try to do is use both hands on these pots, because it is kind of like styrofoam, and they will break if you can grab them with one hand, but most of the time you'll break the pot. So I try to use both hands on the pot and put my next one on top of that one. And then this is the last pot that I will put on top. Now here's my little cup here that goes up here. On this pole, I love to have this sticking up a little higher, but since it's not, then I had to press my pot down inside of it. So when I put my water here, I don't want my water running over inside of my pole.
So just to clarify what he's talking about, what he typically does is he doesn't go through and water each pot. So with vertical planting, you go up, you put your water in here, and then it trickles down all the way to the rest of the pots. And what you can do, sometimes you'll look at your plants and you may notice that some of them are wilting. Just, you know, if you notice that, you can either put more water up top or water them here. This is like I told you how you would water your plants. You just come, put your water up here, and it'll trickle down to the rest of the system. So how often do you typically water your plants?
I water them every day.
So every day, at least once a day. At least once a day.
Now it depends upon also the climate. It's when it gets 95 degrees, it'll dry these plants out. So you kind of have to
His
watch
top
them.
cup is too deep into his potting soil. So what he's going to do right now is take everything off, and then adjust it by cutting the PVC pipe. So he's going to cut the PVC pipe a little, and then everything obviously will come down into here. When we left off, we were saying that we were going to cut some of the PVC pipes off the bottom. So that's what we've done now.
And that's how much I took off.
Here's how much he took off from it. And now you can see, now you have that much space up here for your watering apparatus. And like I said, this is what we put the water in. And you don't fill this soil up all the way.
So you can fill it up with water. Now here are some onions that we had that kind of decayed, and you don't want to throw these away. The reason you don't want to throw them away, I just separate that like that. You got 3 pieces here. You separate that one, and you stick it in this pot here. Because my chickens haven't eaten them yet. Then you put this here.
So when you do it like that, Dad, do you eat what's going to grow at the bottom? Or is it going to sprout out at the top?
Now sometimes it'll make a big bulb, and then sometimes it won't. But you can clip this off, and you have your scallions that you can eat. Now my daughter's gonna come over and show you one that we can clip the top out of. Here are onions here that we can clip the top out of and use them as scallions. Because personally I love onions. You're not gonna have a big root, but if you want, you can pull the whole thing up, and you have a little root. It's not gonna be much of a bulb. But this was kind of plant for scallions. And this plant here is probably maybe 2 years old. It might even be 3. And it's in the pot with our mango tree. Pass me one of those spades, please.
Spade, Dad, we ain't playing cards out here.